Aura is our proud presenting sponsor today, and they are hooking you up with a 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. Make sure your wallet and your identity is protected at all times when you are online, when you go to aura.com/chatsports. We got some minicamp winners and losers. Now that day 3 of Browns minicamp is in the books, we can start handing out some awards. Now, as always, I preface with, it is non-padded practices in May into June for OTAs and minicamp. If you're a loser, you're not really a loser. I'm honestly just finding an excuse to talk about you. And if you're a winner, you're not king of the castle. You're not having a chair, all right? You're still in the elevator before Borat got to his room. Here you go. First minicamp winner, David Bell. I am guilty of talking about this guy way too much. At this point, my firstborn son's name will be David Bell, just like combining it, because that's how big of a winner he has been for the Browns so far this offseason. He has been the star of offseason practices. He kind of, like DPJ was last year, this year it's David Bell. Reports say that he has looked like a pro's pro. And that was one of the big pros, no pun intended, about him coming out of Purdue, was that he would be one of the more pro-ready receivers, and he has absolutely looked the part. Zach Jackson for The Athletic wrote an excellent article wrapping up some Browns minicamp notes, and I thought I should share this segment with you. It's no secret that the Browns expect Bell to become an immediate contributor, and the early impression is that he is off to a strong start. He has seemed to catch everything thrown his way in the open practices, though Bell said he dropped a pass in either the first or second OTA practice. The fact that he can hardly remember dropping a ball at all is beyond impressive. He doesn't have flashy speed, but if you're a receiver who's good at the most important part about being a receiver, catching the football, I'm going to love it. I'll say right now, week 1 starter. Is that even a hot take anymore? Right? I think he's going to be in the huddle with the Cleveland Browns before the first offensive snap. Right? I think it's going to be Amari Cooper, DPJ, and David Bell. I think those are going to be your 3 starting wide receivers, your two outside receivers, and Bell working in the slot. Now, let's play a quick game here. Name a random, gotta be random, Browns wide receiver. You can't go Josh Gordon or Braylon Edwards. It has to be random. So let's see how weird and far back in the annals of Browns history we can go with random wide receivers that played for the Browns. My next winner from minicamp is Grant Delpit. I'm going with the safety here. You may have already seen this story. I think we talked about it actually, was it just yesterday's show or a couple days ago? But anywho, Grant Delpit made one of the plays of the game at Browns minicamp on Tuesday. He's also been running with the first team defense. It's been him and John Johnson, and Ronnie Harrison has been that third safety. Kind of like what Delpit was last year. They switched now. Now it's Ronnie Harrison who's coming out when Joe Woods is dialing up a 3-safety set. So Delpit, who missed his entire rookie season, right, ruptured Achilles, and then last year, he didn't really play. He didn't do anything in training camp. He was coming off that Achilles. So this has kind of been his first real, true offseason. 2020 doesn't really count because that was just clusterfuck. But last season for the Browns, had a pick, three pass breakups. He looked good to me. I liked what I saw at Delpit, and I loved the way I walked away from last season thinking he's going to be very special. I think Grant Delpit will be a very special player for this Browns defense in 2022. Ronnie Harrison's back on a 1-year contract. I don't see him being a future of this Browns secondary. John Johnson, his contract expires relatively soon. I think Delpit's going to be the face of that safety room for years to come. We'll get some other winners and then losers in just a moment, but today's sponsor, Aura, is an awesome service that has financial fraud protection. If you're wondering, why would I need fraud protection? Well, we all know the scene from The Office, right? Millions of families suffer every year. Identity theft's not a joke, Jim. Aura was right. Aura maybe works for Dwight. Dwight works for Aura. But make sure you have your online and your device secure, plus family plans. So if you've got some young ones in the family and we just hand them our iPad or our iPhone and say play online, well, you don't want them starting to shop online and having your credit card hacked. So start your free trial today. aura.com/chatsports. It's an awesome sponsor of ours. I'm super pumped to tell you about them. So make sure you get started today. That way you are secure online. My third minicamp winner is Demetric Felton. I had to put wide receiver there. He used to just be a running back, but he's been getting a lot of work out of the wide receiver position. He made a diving touchdown grab during the Browns minicamp practice on Wednesday. Usually in minicamp and OTAs, you'll see running backs work in the receiver position because why not? It's June practice. It's not padded. It's not live, really. It's not really anything intense, but he's worked at the wide receiver position for quite a bit now. In fact, this diving catch was awesome. I can't show the video, unfortunately. It's on my Twitter, @MatthewPD, if you want to go watch it. But look at him just laying out right there, making a diving touchdown catch in the back of the end zone in Canton, Ohio. I think Demetric Felton has the most to prove at training camp in 6 weeks, starting July 27th, because we all know that there were a couple things that probably didn't go his way this offseason, right? Just one thing after another. The Jakeem Grant signing. Okay, well, Jakeem Grant's a special teams guy. That's what Felton was used a lot for in his rookie season. That's not good for him. You drafted Jerome Ford. Ooh, now you got an extra running back in the room. You brought back Dearness Johnson. Now you're feeling like Felton's kind of getting pushed out a little bit. So, here's what I want to put out there. Do you think Demetric Felton will make the roster? Will the UCLA Bruin be on the Browns roster in 2022? If you think he will, like the video. Or if you do not think he will make it, comment cut. Don't dislike the video. That just hurts my feelings. So, like the video either way, honestly. Let's boost those numbers up because we got a like challenge going on here at Chat Sports in the month of June. Like I said, I want to believe that Demetric Felton will make this roster. I really do want to believe that because I think it wasn't like he was bad his rookie season. He just kind of got screwed a little bit from a couple moves in free agency. Jakeem Grant, like I said, plus Jerome Ford coming over, not ideal. Because Grant, he's going to be a special teams guy. Sure, he'll have some gadget plays for you, but that's what he was signed to do. And that's what he was a Pro Bowl returner for the Bears last season. And he was traded mid-season there from Miami. Jerome Ford, he ain't getting cut. He ain't getting put on the practice squad. You can only carry 53 players. The Browns last season took 3 running backs to start the season. If they do that again this year, it's got to be Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson. Jerome Ford would sneak in. You really going to add a 5th one now with Felton? It seems tough. All right, next up, we got some mini camp losers. Again, they're not real losers because you can't lose in a June practice with no pads. I don't see a way that's possible. So they're not really hardcore losers for the Browns during minicamp. But let me put this call out to you guys. If you hate the Ravens, make sure you subscribe. If you hate the Bengals, make sure you subscribe. Or if you hate the Steelers, subscribe. Because if you hate any of these 3 teams, you're going to fit in quite nicely here at the Browns Report by Chat Sports. We're making and we're growing this YouTube dog pound. So make sure you join us today, one of us, by hitting that big red button. First minicamp loser, I'm going to go with Anthony Walker. Again, not really a loser. So Anthony Walker Jr., if you're watching, don't be too upset. Don't tackle me. But the reason why I have him as a loser is because I actually just really want to talk about this player who may be coming for his job a little bit. And that would be Jacob Phillips, right? The 3rd-round pick out of LSU who has had injuries get in the way of his development so far. Well, he's healthy now, right? He tore his pec during training camp last year, only played in 4 games, 1 sack, 17 tackles. But he's getting some reps with the starters. So that's why I have Walker as a loser because he's gonna be that Mike linebacker, right? He's gonna be the middle linebacker, taking some reps away from Walker, who's back on a 1-year deal. Maybe they're kind of grooming Phillips to take over that position. So far in his career, it's been plagued by injuries. We know this. High expectations for him this year, though. He's an awesome athlete. I mean, all these LSU defenders are always tremendous athletes. I don't know what's in the water in Baton Rouge, but they just come out faster and jumping higher. 42 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack through 14 games. Hopefully he can take a huge jump forward in 2022. Minicamp loser number 2 is Ronnie Harrison. I'm going with the same thread sort of Anthony Walker. And if Delpit's a winner, then that means Ronnie Harrison is a loser, right? Because it looks like Grant Delpit is taking that starting free safety spot from Ronnie Harrison. So it's a reverse of what it was last year, which was you had Delpit be the third safety to come on the field. This year it looks like it's going to be Ronnie Harrison, the third safety, coming on the field. Last year, compare their stats, pretty similar numbers. Ronnie Harrison played fewer games. Remember when he got suspended when he got ejected? Was it week 1 against the Chiefs when he just decided to go buck wild on the whole operation and just kick a Chiefs player on the sideline? That was fun. But yeah, there are the stats in front of you right there. Delpit, especially down the stretch, really showed why he was picked in round number 2. Here's my question for you, though. Who is the Browns' best defensive back after Denzel Ward? Can't say Denzel Ward. That's too easy. But who's the number 2? Could it be Delpit? Greg Newsome? You want to be unique and say Martin Emerson? Let me know who you think it is below in the comment section. Third and final loser. I know. Bear with me. I'm going with the legend, Clay Matthews Jr. You're probably asking this, Matthew, how could Clay Matthews Jr. be a loser from Browns minicamp? Well, because now I get to talk about Myles Garrett, who did not enter the Hall of Fame museum after the team practiced in Canton on Wednesday, because he has said for a long time now he does not want to step foot into that museum, into that building, until he is voted in. And he will be voted into the Hall of Fame. There's not much of a debate here. He is almost the Cleveland Browns sack leader in franchise history, and look at the difference in the amount of games played between Clay Matthews, the legend, from the late 70s to the early 90s, 62 sacks in 232 games, compared to Myles Garrett, who is just right off his trail, right? 3.5 sacks away, 4 sacks he has the record in 68 games. So we'll play a quick game here. Looking at the schedule, I think he can get 3.5 sacks within the first 6 weeks of the season. I'm trying to think what quarterback would be the most sweet. Like, if he gets the record on sacking Marcus Mariota for the Falcons, that won't be very fun. I know don't be greedy here, but I wish it was against Big Ben. That would be awesome. Week 3 against the Steelers. Cannot be. Maybe it'll be Small Hands Pickett or Trubisky. That's going to do it for us here for our minicamp winners and losers. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Matthew Petey. That way you can stay in the know on everything relating to your Cleveland Browns throughout the entire offseason. So hit that big red button, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter today. I'll see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.